Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Oh, light the beam indeed. Light the beam and bear with me because holy hell, I am a bit discombobulated right now. Welcome into the Monday night live edition of the Sports Cave. Recapping here the NBA draft lottery that happened earlier tonight. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Let me just stretch here. Wouldn't you know it? We actually have something to talk about. As always, I am your host, Sam Freas, joined by the Cap and LG in parts unknown here in the greater San Antonio area, where we find ourselves now 44 days away from what is now a really exciting NBA draft. If you want to mark the calendars, round one comes down June 25th, and have a feeling we're going to be talking a lot of NBA draft between now and then over the course of the next 44 days.
I wonder if there's going to be moves.
Oh, buddy, get ready for the main segment tonight because that is exactly what we are already starting to talk about. Because now we know some of the pieces that could be involved. That voice you heard, of course, is Cap joining again. How we doing over there, brother?
I'm hanging in there, man.
Oh, that doesn't sound confident.
Oh, man, I could not fall asleep last night. I was so eager for this draft.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
Little indigestion.
Little indigestion, or
sleeping every 2 hours, waking up.
Yankees on a West Coast road trip, maybe.
Yeah, late nights.
That'll keep you up. LG, how are we looking in the control room over there? How are we doing?
Oh, we're looking great, man. We're looking great.
Spectacular.
In the control room over here.
That is much more of a confident answer than the one Cap gave me. I'm now having indigestion based concerns from the man across from me. I'll give you this. I've talked a lot about my Fiesta food.
So I went on, So yesterday I went on a bender and got a local establishment that is a staple for us on the north side is PI, Pizza Italia. And I just went a little
My first employer.
Hey.
That is, man. It's a lot of our friends' first employers because he didn't care what we look like.
That's a good man. That's a good man.
Sweet Terry. But, just went a little heavy on the crushed red pepper and had some buffalo wings to wrap it up. And I haven't had pizza in probably, believe it or not, I haven't had pizza in probably like 2 months. And
I'm talking about food, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a little longer.
I was about to say, which one have we eaten?
God, you calling me out already, LG. I will walk over to that room.
Hold
I swear to God.
Hold on. There must have been something in the air because the roommate and I had Pizza Classics delivered yesterday after watching the Stars game.
A friend in my neighborhood owns that.
Well, tell him continue with the good work.
He makes a hell of a pizza, and he said his cauliflower pizza dough.
It's good.
He'll put it up against anybody's.
So he
did a lot of research, he said.
A past individual that I ordered pizza with frequently would always be looking for the more healthy option.
It is the
when
more
it
healthy
came
option.
to pizza, and it'd be like, dude, you're eating pizza. Like, just bite the bullet and eat pizza. Like, you're not benefiting. And to your buddy's credit, the cauliflower crust was. You can do a lot with cauliflower. You can do buffalo wings with cauliflower. That's pretty good. Fry them like you would a chicken wing.
Towards the end of a drunken night, I'll just pull off all the toppings if I'm getting too full and I still want that cheese and marinara and greasiness.
Yeah, I am a bit of a pizza snob. I mean, I think Il Forno down in my part of town is the best pizza I've ever eaten in my life. But that being said,
didn't we have Portnoy or whatever his name?
He went and gave great reviews.
Yeah,
apparently.
I looked at them all and it was like high reviews for San Antonio, and he was like very surprised with his New York, bravado.
Yeah, it feels like they're a bit elitist when it comes to pizza. No, a couple of those places that he went to are now selling out like barbecue places. Like they can't proof enough dough every day because they're selling out one of them in my part of town. But yeah, there's still, as much as I love a fancy, really nice ingredient, like, Il Forno cures all of their own meats, all in-house. They butcher they're breaking down an entire,
got the prosciutto,
all of it, and it is
the
excellent.
thin-cut Canadian bacon.
But every now and then, you still just want some old school college pizzeria pizza, and that was us yesterday with
Give
the
us
old
some CC's pizza.
Exactly.
I want to go to the buffet.
CC's has made a massive comeback. They
Really?
were on the verge of bankruptcy, and they are back.
They're back.
Closed a bunch of stores, but they're back profitable for the first time in 20, 30
where is
years.
the CC's?
Well, again, they closed a lot of stores, so I don't. I
Still
think
tastes like cardboard.
I think maybe it's probably similar quality. It's just
I remember
a better
going there
run
for the
business.
video games.
Yeah, the arcades were.
The arcade as a kid.
You
and
went
get
to
his pizza.
CC's for the video games?
They always
was a
had Area
child.
51 and Mortal Kombat, which they had they had
Time Crisis.
gory games that you might not get at a more family-friendly pizza establishment.
My parents didn't give a shit.
Well, buddy, mine did,
I did.
and that's why
No Mortal Kombat for you or Killer Instinct?
that's why my little
I
brother
had
went to
Mortal-
seminary, and I didn't.
I got the Genesis just so I could get blood on Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's right. They made it gray on Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
didn't
Nintendo,
they?
you had, yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite a different game. I remember
We're
being
aging ourselves, gentlemen.
Well, having the buddy that had the Sega Genesis immediately made you the coolest kid in the neighborhood.
Yep.
I never got used to the 3 buttons. He just LG just showed me that he got the old school Super NES remote for his
Oh yeah,
Switch.
it's nice, isn't it?
And I'm like, man, this brings me back, man. Street Fighter days, 3 buttons.
Yeah, if only they had Street Fighter.
Yeah, the 6 buttons, but I could never get used to the Genesis, just 3 buttons.
It was a little weird. I always liked the updated controller with the 3 extra buttons, so it had 6 buttons.
At least a little
Yeah.
closer to comfortable.
Yeah.
But still, I'm with
It
you.
was weird.
Having
Sega always went weird with their controllers.
Yeah, I mean, hell, look at the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
An extremely underrated system.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
a great
God.
system.
The first
Soul
system I ever
Calibur?
played online. I played an online game on a Dreamcast.
The birth of 2K.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the sports game?
Yeah, that was
I
their-
worked at Babbage's video game store before
Ah.
GameStop became the titan that it was, and it was at North Star Mall, and it was right when the Dreamcast came out, and they had Soul Calibur on there, and we had kids lined up. And I would go there and, of course, wreck shop, and I'd just sit there and just destroy about 20 of them.
Of course.
But yeah, dude, like the Dreamcast was an elite machine.
Just a little. It's a perfect example of being a little too ahead of your time.
Yeah.
It was too much, too quick for the consumer base to.
It had the little,
adapt.
remember the little emojis you put in the controller?
It was spectacular.
That was the memory card.
Yeah.
But it had like the little guy on it.
You had
like
the little window.
Yeah.
In the, all right, enough video game talk.
We're
LG,
old.
tell the people how they can get a hold of the program here. Where
You can chime in on the chat on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube. We are not on Facebook, but we could be if you want. I think you're anti-Facebook. Okay, anyway.
Make it, man.
All right, we're on.
We
we're on
just
a-
aged
we're
ourselves, so
we're
we need to be on
multi-platform.
Facebook.
You can leave a comment after the fact on the iHeart platform, on the Spotify platform, all the different places if you're listening in the future. And if you'd like to leave a tip, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/sportscavelive, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are in need of subscribers.
Yeah, we need to get those subscriptions up. Again, I think I said it last week, and I saw we had a good amount trickle in. So help us out there. The YouTube page is absolutely free. I know a lot of y'all still just listen to the audio versions of this show because you boys would be happy to know those numbers are
They're up.
looking pretty good.
like
Looking pretty good. But even if you do just listen to the audio version, do us a favor. Go to YouTube at Sports Cave Live. Give us a subscription. Like the videos. It helps us out. Helps us keep the program afloat and rolling here, especially as we start to roll out more shows throughout the week. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But as always, on Mondays, we start with a little bit of a weekend recap. And I I don't know how else to phrase it, but the sports gods just continue to bless us
Oh,
right now.
the sports gods love mothers.
I think that's, don't we all? Don't we
all
all?
love our mom?
I mean, I think.
Maybe not Nurse Blanchett or.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's probably a few, or what was the nurse that never, or not the nurse, the mom that.
The psycho.
Yeah, might have not loved her kids as much as she should
more
have.
wire hangers.
Yeah. Oh, God. Happy Mother's Day. We're going to talk some Mother's Day, but the sports gods blessed us with a nice rebound win for the Stars yesterday. I mentioned we ordered pizza after it because I was in a good mood. I was in a mood good enough to eat greasy pizza, which...
Oh, we ate pizza 2 times.
Yeah, I made it 2 times. You got to pump those numbers up.
Those are weak numbers.
I ate a kale salad for lunch today to make up for it. But now, Stars, going back to last week, the 4-0 loss in Game 2 up in Winnipeg, it looked like the Stars absolutely had no energy, completely flat. We were all texting about the game Friday night. And, you know, as we watch NBA playoffs concurrently with NHL playoffs, it's so much of a different viewing experience where, you know, the Stars look terrible in Game 2, lose 4-0 to Winnipeg. And if that was an NBA series, like right now, like the way the Cavs looked against the Pacers in blowout.
What was that, 60 points or something?
They got down to, it was only 20 at the end. But, yeah, I mean, it was over 40 most of the game. Yeah. And so you watch that series and you think, oh, well, you know, Indiana clearly looks like they're the team that's going to win the series. You watch a hockey playoff game and a team wins 4-0. You think, all right, well, that's one game down.
Old-time hockey?
We move on to the next because we were talking, you know, I think we mentioned it a couple weeks ago. In the NBA, when a team is up 3-1 in a series,
it's basically over.
It's basically over. They went and basically it's like a 94.5%, 95% win rate for the team that's up 3-1. Hockey, it's about 2/3 of that. It's somewhere in the 60s. I think it's like 60, 68, somewhere around there. So
they were the only sport to let a 03 team go back until some year in 2004. I don't remember.
Well, we almost saw it.
I don't remember what series
last
that
year
was for baseball.
That was 04. Because I watched that in a student center at McMurray University when the Red Sox stole bases and came back from down 0-3. But
Never happened.
Almost saw it last year in the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida goes up 3-0, and then Edmonton chips back, wins the next 3, and then Florida ends up winning Game 7. So hockey it's wheels off, man. It's
Florida's
wild
up
ass.
too right now.
Florida's doing well again. They're Marchment had the overtime game winner over the weekend. But on the heels of that 4-0 loss, yesterday, Stars come back with a resounding 5-2 victory over the Jets. Game 3, back in Dallas. I don't know how y'all feel. I absolutely hate matinee playoff games of any sport. I don't like baseball day games in the playoffs.
Even on weekends? You don't like matinees on weekends?
Not so much, man, because I want all day.
It's got to start like at 3:30.
I want 3:30 is better than the 1 o'clock tip off or first pitch or any of that. That's terrible. And I know
well, baseball is
give
kind of
me
like
hell. I'm not an early morning guy, so 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not ready for a playoff game yet. 3:30, I'm still kind of gearing up, building the hype for it. That's still a little early for me. And that was Stars yesterday afternoon, 3:30, 3:45.
Surprisingly enough, I got up and watched the Barcelona and Real Madrid game, which that was one of those another great game, another great week.
That in the lightning round because we got to talk about Barca's continued dominance there. It's getting really hard to state how well Mikko Rantanen is playing. I mean, you can do it through obviously, if you don't know the whole story of Rantanen, we've talked about him a little bit in the last series when he wins the series for the Stars with a hat trick over Colorado. Now he's after yesterday's game, He extended his streak, his NHL record streak for most goals or consecutive goals or assists. So the way they phrase it is he's contributed to 13 straight goals. He's either scored it or he's been the assist guy.
So he's above Gretzky and Ovechkin.
Above all of them, above Lemieux, above anyone that's ever. So the record before was 9.
9?
9.
So he shattered it.
He shattered it. And it was 12 going into yesterday's game. He extends it to 13, but then a goal in the middle of the game ended the streak. He didn't score.
So
he didn't.
13's the number.
13's the new record, but he went on to have 2 more assists. So at one point, he had scored or assisted on 15 of the Stars' last 16 playoff goals.
That's ridiculous.
Just insane. And I mentioned for those of y'all that might not be as locked into Stars hockey or back what happened during the regular season of the NHL, Rantanen was the Colorado Avalanche's number 2 guy offensively. They had Nathan McKinnon, second best hockey player on earth, behind McDavid, McJesus. They had Kel McCarr.
Is that really his last name?
It's what the Canadians believe.
I said, I only tune in for the playoffs. So
Connor McDavid is absolutely the guy, the stud. But Mikko was McDavid's running mate. He was the number 2 guy on that line. So they end up having, he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Colorado opens negotiations with him. Mikko tells him, this is the number I want. Let's get it done. Colorado lowballs him and starts to try to negotiate. Mikko says again, this is the number I want. Let's get it done. Colorado, at one point, I think the reports were, and again, not verified, but by high-quality sources, it sounds like at one point the negotiation was basically down to about $250,000 difference a year in salary.
And they couldn't get it done.
And they wouldn't budge. They wouldn't give him the number he wanted.
So then, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like a Luka Jalen Brunson.
A little, with Brunson not accepting the original offer, and then the
obviously
Mavs
Nico wasn't the man.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then he goes somewhere else, and he is pretty much. I think Jalen, even though Luka does amazing stuff, I think Jalen Brunson. If Luka played defense, I would give Luka the edge. But right now, I think there's a 1A, 1B with Jalen Brunson and Luka. Because Jalen Brunson won clutch shot of the clutch man of the year.
Clutch player, yeah. And I think the comparison ends a little bit where Brunson was never going to be the guy he is today playing alongside Luka.
Yeah.
Just having 2 ball-dominant guys like that. Whereas McKinnon and Rantanen played perfectly together because they are both fluid hockey players scoring and assisting on each other's goal.
It's totally different because they switch out sets so fast.
And it just feels like Brunson was never going to be what he is now if he had stayed in Dallas. But Rantanen was that guy clearly. So
did they think Nico was going to be that good? What he's doing now. Do you think the Avalanche thought
because
this man could be a number 1 on another team?
No doubt, because he was their leading points guy on a Stanley Cup final run 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Like he's already won a cup with Colorado, and they had locked up McKinnon, they'd locked up Makar, and now Rantanen was the third piece that they needed to get locked up. So flash forward to approaching the trade deadline. They still haven't gotten a deal done. So now you're approaching, a lot like you see in baseball, where a guy is like, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. A team is going to trade for him, but it's going to be you get what you can, and the other team views him as a rental. Mm-hmm. So enter the Carolina Hurricane, who are still alive, making their own deep run. So they say, "Oh, Mikko Rantanen's available. Let's get the deal done. We'll try to convince him to stay in Raleigh, to stay in Carolina, and sign with us long term." So they do the deal, send the Avs good amount of. I mean, it was a fair trade. It was good value.
So this was last year.
This is January. This is February.
So all this happened
Yes.
this year.
Yes. So Rantanen gets traded to Carolina, immediately tells them, guys, I'm not signing for you. I'm going to go to free agency in the summer. I appreciate y'all trying to convince me to stay. Like I'm more than happy to be a part of this organization, make a playoff run with y'all.
He got traded twice.
It was very Kawhi-ish, where it's like, look, I'm going to lead you to a championship, Toronto, but just know I'm not re-signing. I'm leaving. I want to be in a specific destination, but I'm going to do everything I can, like we saw, to win a championship. So
he's not going to sit out like another guy you just said.
Correct. So Rantanen gets to Carolina. Carolina realizes quickly, okay, we've got a decision to make. Either we can flip him again to try to recoup some assets for what we just gave up for him, or we can keep him, hope we make a deep playoff run, he falls in love with the city, the fan base, and maybe he'll resign for us if we overpay him. And we can money whip him and convince him to stay. Well, Carolina made the choice to trade him again, which is where Dallas steps in. So all of a sudden, Dallas and Colorado are division rivals. Colorado intentionally shipped him to the East Coast to play for Carolina, where they would never have to face him in the playoffs unless it was a Stanley Cup final. So all of a sudden the Stars say, hey, Carolina, let's get a deal done before we hang up the phone. Rantanen gets traded to Dallas, and not only that, immediately signs an 8-year extension for the number.
I was just about to ask if did he sign with Dallas
for the number he wanted from Colorado.
So over $250 a year,
roughly
$250 a year, he signs the division rivals, and they're going to have to deal with Nico for the next 8 years.
That's correct.
Oh, my God.
After trying to...
That's classic. While Dallas is making a run for the Cup.
And while Dallas is not only making the run this year, but you look at their roster construction, outside of a few guys on the peripheral of the roster, most of Dallas's core is mid-20s. Or, hell, Wyatt Johnston, the future captain, is he turns 21 or 22 on Wednesday.
Wow.
Jake
so it's a young team. So
Otter,
you got yourself an OKC.
That's a lot. It's looking a lot like that with the high-end talent all aging together like Oklahoma City. And so
that's amazing.
All of that being said,
I bet that turns your little Dallas Stars heart.
I will say this.
A little Grinch style. It just grows a little bit. It just grows.
It's ironic. I'm wearing a Mavs warm-up pullover today. This, I swear to you, this isn't because...
You had to dig that out the closet.
This has Mother's Day connections that we'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
This wasn't even because of the draft lottery, but now, it just...
I thought you pulled that out the bottom of the closet when Luka got traded, and it's been sitting there ever since.
No, it just so happened to work out. It now has multiple points of importance. Out. But yeah, thinking back to on average, normally, like you love baseball. The amount of guys that get traded at the trade deadline, very, very rarely does one of those guys end up being the quote unquote missing piece. Like you get a lot of guys like bullpen arms in baseball. Like, it's helping the bullpen, but very rarely does a star closer get traded, and all of a sudden he's locked down.
We gave Chapman up to Chicago.
And
they got their chip.
I think the best example I could think of was when
we got Gleyber Torres.
When the Astros got Randy Johnson. And that was just such like trade deadline boost.
Carlos Beltran, when that
was a pretty good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. He went on a tear. They didn't win it all, but
same with
he went on it. He was always good in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but very rarely,
rarely.
Like how many of those? That's 20 years span right there that we were just talking.
We're getting old. That's 40 years, 30 years span. But yeah, it's just very, very rarely do you see a guy get traded at the deadline and then set league records in the middle of a playoff run 2-3 months later. So
that's amazing. Anything that you can get over on Wayne, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, Wayne or Ovi.
Yeah.
Or Sid for that matter. So that made for a great sports viewing weekend because I was pretty bummed after that Friday night game. It looked like,
oh man, you sound like you were one wording text me,
Yeah,
and I was like, man, they're looking flat. There's no energy. There's nothing there. They're losing the puck constantly, and you're like, yep.
That's about how I felt watching it. You know, there wasn't there weren't a whole lot of signs that this team was going to turn around and put 5 on them the next game.
And then they played. It was a completely different team yesterday.
1,000%.
It was amazing. I was like, dude, like it's 2-2 in the second. And then all of a sudden they just poured it on, and they just nonstop pressured them.
So
nonstop.
All of a sudden it was 2-2, like you said.
Yeah.
And then Petrovic, a guy that has connections to, well, hell, Rantanen actually has connections to San Antonio as well. Rantanen played on the SA Rampage back in the day when he was coming up through the AHL.
That's an old cut.
A big time old cut. And Petrovic and Rantanen actually played with each other on the San Antonio Rampage back then. And Petrovic is the guy that yesterday kicked the puck to score the 3rd goal of the game. And normally you can't kick a puck in, but after a 9-minute long review.
That was a long review.
So you want to know how long it was? If you notice, go back and watch the broadcast. The in-arena DJ up there, the review's taking place. He's playing the they have bits, you know.
Yeah.
He's playing the normal music he plays during a review. That plays.
It's going to be 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's
tops.
Yeah.
3 minutes tops. Because normally, so hockey has a centralized replay center in Toronto.
Okay.
So the
kind of like
officials,
New York at basketball.
1,000%.
Yeah.
The officials have no input at all. The officials on the ice have zero input in the replay. It all goes through the league. So the league is reviewing the tape, and then they tell the officials, right? So normally, like a 3-minute replay in hockey is forever long. That hardly ever happens. Yesterday's replay went so long, the DJ plays his normal song, and then he just starts playing Freebird from the beginning. And for the next...
He's like, this is about a 9-minute long song. It can't go longer than that.
The next 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, is just the entirety of Freebird. Finally,
you're in the solo. You're in the guitar solo part.
That's 1,000% what happened. Right in the middle of, also a guitar solo that was written by a Californian. Not many. Yeah, that's I learned that from the
California
from the Skinner documentary. They're right in the middle of the guitar solo by the time they make the announcement. So it's literally. I think altogether
how did
it
they
was
justify? Did they just say it was a deflection?
So they said yes, he kicked the puck.
Yeah.
Which, if it had gone straight into the net, would have been a disallowed goal. But Hellebuck, the Jets goalie, hits the puck with his stick as it's flying towards him. Petrovic kicks it towards the goalie. The goalie sees it coming, hits it with his stick, and it off of his stick, it went into the net.
So they had to go deep in the rule booklet on this one.
And that's what took so long, because I think they were, first of all, is it a kick or isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we've decided that's a kick. So now, did Hellebuck knock it in himself while making a play on the puck? And you mentioned after the 9-minute delay, they allow the goal. It's now 3-2 Stars, and then less than 30 seconds later, Rantanen scores.
Imagine that,
and
not
it's 4-2.
Imagine that not being in Dallas after a 9-minute review, and it goes Dallas's way.
Yeah, no, I know. And you've got an afternoon crowd. And credit to the Stars fans, man. Stars fans are. If you've never watched a Stars game, I first of all highly suggest jumping in now. But if you've never been to a Stars game in that arena, it is. It's just awesome. It's people that if you're a hockey fan in North Texas, you love the sport.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting casuals or randoms that much. Like, you're going to end up sitting next to some middle-aged broad next to you that knows the opposing team better than you do. She's giving you scouting reports, and you're like, I just met you 5 minutes ago.
So
like,
you're not getting those people just being there and they're on their phone the whole time. You're getting fans.
But you get yelled at if you're on your phone at certain sections. Yeah, no, it's great. It's people that actually care.
I told some girls, I was like,
maybe care a little too much.
I was like, I will never invite you back if I'm sitting here talking with you, being like, oh, did you see that play? And you're on your phone. No, you're not getting a ticket.
No, that's where That's where that
like, you're done.
opportunity
I'll
ends.
take my homie.
Yeah,
You know?
1,000%. We're going to talk a little. The main segment today is obviously NBA draft lottery, but we are going to do a little bit of NBA second round updates in the main segment as well. So I'll leave NBA for then. I wanted to run something by you boys because Saturday I got into a bit of a standoff at a local restaurant around lunchtime.
How many girls you beat up?
It's funny you say that.
Oh, it was a girl.
It wasn't just a girl. It was a group of. I say this fully endearingly.
Two chicks at the same time, man.
It was a group of former
Fight through it.
softball players.
Oh, so you had some. They were puffing out their chests as much as the men, huh?
And it looked like a couple of them played catcher.
Oh,
They
You play ball like a girl.
there was definitely some attempt at intimidation throughout. So I'll start from the top.
they're about to swing on you,
Buddy, it almost got to that point, and that's where I say, like, I need to ask the gallery here if I was truly in the wrong, because I still, if the roommate tells me I was just fine.
Set up the situation.
Okay.
They're like, what happened?
LGD, I sent you. It's the video I sent you from the roommate that she took, because we have video of it as well.
have video?
Not
Yeah.
of the confrontation.
Oh, okay.
Not of the but of the scene, that we're stepping into. So
I want to see you
criticize
yell at
me,
some softball
criticize me
lesbians.
all you want, but every now and then, about once a month, I get a craving for those damn shrimp tacos from Torchy's.
Oh man, you know that's the only taco I do like.
That's the
from
only-
there.
that's the only one I get.
It's like the with the little
Yep.
sweet sauce on
Yep.
it.
It's spectacular.
And it's only like a once a month type of taco, isn't it?
I think they've added it now
They've
forever.
added- I might have to go back there.
Yeah, it's worth it. Again, I understand it is what it is, living in San Antonio and going to
It's
Torchy's.
a good business. It's
But-
good business, man. You know, I'm trying to make. You know, if I can make a Torchy's, you know.
Yeah, Torchy's, if you want to sponsor a segment, I will more than happily
We
sing
love
the
your shrimp
praises.
taco.
Sing the praises of the shrimp taco.
Yes.
So I told the roommate, let's go grab a couple. She gets fried avocado taco. So that's
That's a deal. I like that.
like we get very specific orders every time, and it's like once a month.
I went to
it's like,
Torchy's when it was a food truck before they
way back.
before they franchised.
Yeah.
You had to go to a little park up in Austin.
Yeah, as any Austinite would tell you, that was back when it was still good.
Oh
Yeah, I can already hear the
it
snobbery.
was different.
Yeah, I could hear the snobbery already. So we go to Torchy's, and first thing, as we're walking up, the business next to them is like a dog grooming area or business.
Are we talking about the one over by the quarry?
Yeah, Lincoln Heights, right?
Yeah.
So,
You're talking about, I actually take my dog to that groomer.
you will be happy to know,
That is a
LG.
long drive, LG.
This
Not
is
that exact one, but that
that
same
brand.
business.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's like you bougie little.
this is what it sounded like as anybody walked past the dog grooming place. Constant.
Oh my god.
So
And you trying to watch sports?
again,
I am a dog lover, man. Like when I see a dog in public, like I've told the story where
it's the only real friends that I've got. Well,
I know.
besides you two.
I
But
was like, man, I've stopped and an Akita. I just got an Akita, and this one had one that looked like Hachi, and it's this old Asian neighbor of mine in the neighborhood. Like I've never met him. He doesn't speak any English. I literally stop the truck, pull over, start running at this man, and this guy's eyes go wide open. I'm like, "Can I pet your dog?" Oh, I start squishing his face, and I'm like, I get so happy.
Yeah,
I get so happy.
and as do I normally.
But I'm
And
not watching sports.
it made me happy to see. So the reason all of the barking was there is because they were doing an adoption event.
Oh yeah.
So it's great.
Hey,
But the problem is they have like 7 dogs out there, each in its own individual cage, that all are at different levels of friendly.
Oh, you got the aggressive dog.
You got some aggressive ones, right? Which I also love to see because they need homes too. They need to be adopted.
They'll warm up. They warm up.
Anytime anyone walks by, you get that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, like, yes, I was watching sports, but it wasn't like we went there specifically for it. So
Yeah.
I'm fighting through it.
You went there for the tacos,
Yeah.
torchies.
Okay, who
Exactly.
brought the dog?
I'm fighting through it, but the roommate recorded that video so we would have evidence because it was
Yeah.
absurd. It was
That's-
like that nonstop the entire time we're there, right? So Saturday afternoon, you know, it's as golfers like to say, it's moving day at the truest.
Yeah.
So because my options were golf, college baseball, and it was like Oklahoma versus somebody. And then they just had like Chive TV. Like those were the three TVs I had available. So we walk in, I assess my options. I choose, all right, we're going to sit specifically in front of the TV that has golf on, right?
Yeah.
And
it was a good match.
It's at the end of the bar. So clearly you can tell if someone is sitting there and looking straight up, they are watching that, right?
Yeah. You've laid claim.
Correct. And we've been there at this point long enough where we've had some chips and queso. We're waiting on our tacos to come out. Well, in behind me comes a group of
I just get this image in my head.
just
some bull dykes.
three women,
Just coming in.
three women walking in. And so the bartender is like, hey, how are y'all doing? Before she even responds, she's like, can you change that TV? And I'm like, what is going on? Like, who are
aggressive?
Who just walked? Yeah, she's like, we came to watch, and you ready for it? We came to watch the James Madison versus Coastal Carolina Conference Championship softball game.
What?
That is verbatim.
What is that,
What
like
came out of her mouth?
A 3A Division 3 school?
No, it's full. It's full Division 1. And I noticed one of the girls had Coastal Carolina gear on.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like
She's from
one
there,
of them,
or so they know
or
someone
multiple
on
of them either went there or even play. I'm telling you, I think that one absolutely played there.
Yeah.
I mean, she was an athlete. She looked like a softball player.
Have you seen my baseball?
She had broad shoulders.
Very broad, very broad. So immediately the girl asked to change the channel, and I don't say anything. I just kind of look over my head like, okay, well, there's three TVs. The bartender clearly sees me looking up at the one on golf.
Yeah.
So
Does the bartender? Oh, please tell me you said
so
something.
what are these three? Well, the bartender was a female as well, buddy.
Oh, you were outnumbered.
What do these three girls do? They sit right on the end of the bar right next to us. There's only two chairs available, so another one goes and gets a chair.
No buffer?
And moves it. I mean, they're closer than me to you. Like I could like elbow like I'm blocking out for a rebound and
You're
and
an
hit 'em.
airline. You're like an airline seat.
1,000%. Again,
What the?
it's like 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon. The bar is not busy. There's so much space available, multiple TVs, and
That's
the
like an
bartender-
international thing where they sit real close to you and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
And like
There's
us
no-
Americans are like, what in the world
especially
is going on
bigger
here? Yeah.
Americans like us. You know, like give me some space here.
Yeah, I was like, these elbows, like this is my personal space right here. You
So
know?
as soon as the girls all sit down, the bartender goes up and immediately starts to change. And I was like, hey, whoa, hold on. Like, there's other TVs. Like, I've been here 20 minutes now. I'm obviously watching that.
Yeah.
Maybe pick a different TV. And the girls at that point kind of looked at me like, oh, are we going to have a problem? Didn't say anything yet, but I could tell all three of them were giving me this look right here, the kind of lean to the side and
Were they whispering to each other?
started to, yeah. And that was where
Where was Steph? Was she behind you, in
so
front
no,
of
she's
you?
on the other side. So roommate here, then me, then boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Three girls at the end of the bar, right?
Oh, I wanted to step in
and so
between you.
no. So at this point, I tell the bartender, I was like, nah, pick another TV. Like I'm already here watching it. And she starts to be like, well, do you think you could scoot down and I can put it on this TV? And I was like, no. And at that point I go, no.
They have nothing
No.
in their hands. They
Right.
haven't ordered a
They
drink.
haven't done anything. Nothing.
No one's ordered a beer, dude.
No, this
You
is
know?
all within. So it gets even better. It turns out they weren't even drinking. They were just
were
sitting.
they eating?
They were eating.
Okay.
So they weren't even drinking. They were just eating, but they wanted to be in the bar.
A,
area.
the alcoholic beverage trumps TV. B, you being there for 20 minutes trumps TV.
Right.
C, the bartender knows this etiquette. That trumps TV when someone's already sitting there watching it. They'll at least go up and ask you.
I don't think the bartender was playing on my team. Let's just put it that way. I think she was more than happy to accommodate the group of 3 ladies requesting college softball than she was to keep golf on the TV for my old ass.
I'm trying to keep this politically correct.
No, it's hard,
know,
buddy. Trust me. Like as we're sitting there, I'm like running through the simulations of how this ends. Like this is not. There are very few simulations where it ends well for me.
Is Wayne Brady going to have to
You gotta
choke
tell
a
the
bitch?
roommate, if that ever pops off, if that ever went sideways, and you're having to swing on 3 softball players, so camera rolls. The camera rolls.
I need evidence.
She doesn't get involved. She stands back and she records it.
So
I need proof of that.
What I told her is, you remember how whenever sometimes you're driving and you flip someone off, and then we see it's a dude, and it's like, well, if he follows us, like, who's going to be the one fighting? It's going to be me, not you. So I told her Saturday, I was like, hey, you remember all those times I told you quit flipping people off because I don't want to have to do anything? This was a moment where you were going to have to do something. Yeah. Like, you're the one stepping in and taking those 3 on by yourself.
I can.
And then I can step in and defend you and maybe get a few jabs in myself in self-defense.
No.
But no,
if they hit me, I hit them. I'm a feminist.
It's equality. Long story short, I lost the battle.
You lost it?
I lost it.
You stand your ground.
So I did.
I would have been a Karen. I need to see the manager.
So
bring me the manager right now.
The
There's
bartender
etiquette to this.
What makes
this is not Nam. There's rules to this.
There are rules, Donnie. The one saving grace I will say, I gave up the fight because I ran the simulations, decided this is not worth it. Let them put the softball on. But I told the chick, I was like, hey, put golf on the other TV though, like you said you would. And then she's like, well. And I was like, no, do it. Like, do it. You said you could do it. Do it. Like, I've now seated this TV. Go put it on the other one.
Stood up for yourself.
So
halfway.
the girls, 1,000. It gets even better. I got straight passive aggressive with this shit. The girls at that point had the gall to say, "Do you mind scooting down?" Oh. And so the rest of the day,
bro, I would have called I got some hard hitting homegirls.
The rest of the day,
I would have called them up and been like, "I need you now."
The rest of the afternoon,
I got free tacos.
As we sat there, it was like when a girl would hit a ball to the shortstop, it'd be like, "Oh, huh." That checks out. Like, she's got no pop.
A routine play, and then dude, it's like
I was openly.
I was like, "Oh, you can't get that routine play."
At one point, I think I verbatim said, "You know, that's just not going to work against this James Madison offense." I'm going full.
Like you knew it.
Like just full backhanded. Like, man, this dude. Coastal Carolina team, we all knew they were paper tigers.
That's not going to cut it.
No, we all knew. I mentioned quickly, I'll close it out with some Mother's Day here because.
Happy Mother's Day as you swing on a girl.
That's correct. Yeah, happy Mother's Day. I mentioned, I wore this to Phil Jackson's last game he ever coached.
Oh,
it was
pretty amazing.
Affectionately known up in North Texas as the Mother's Day Massacre. If you'll remember, it was when Andrew Bynum elbowed J.J. Barea, knocked him out of midair. Bynum gets ejected, rips his jersey off, never plays another game for the Lakers. Phil Jackson retires after the game. Mavs finally beat the Lakers in a playoff series. And beat them by 40.
I do remember that one.
It was one of my greatest sports moments ever. And I was that guy. It was a blue out in the arena, and I wore this. So, like, still to this day, I'll pull up footage because you can see where we're sitting, and there's one guy not wearing blue, and it's this giant guy and this.
You wrote it like this, so they wanted a blue out.
Right.
A blue
and
out.
It's just the one guy wearing this old school.
It's still a Mavs.
Still counts. Like, I'm not wearing the shirt. It works out now because obviously we're about to talk about the NBA draft lottery. Yeah. But let me ask you all this: good bit or bad bit? Did you catch any of the Tigers-Rangers game on Sunday or any of this weekend?
I saw highlights.
Okay. For those that don't know, there's a San Antonio connection to that game because Josh Young and his younger brother, Jace Young, both San Antonio kids. Both played at Texas Tech, and now are both in the major leagues. Both played third base over the weekend. So we got, first of all, first bad bit, or let me ask the gallery. The first bad bit was their mom. They presented their mom a split jersey.
No, the old split jersey.
That was half Tigers, half Rangers. They gave her that before the game on Mother's Day. It's kind of a bad bit.
Yeah, it's been done before.
It's
do something else.
It's a bit overused now,
and
you know, when you see it, it's like
I'd be like, I would each have like a jersey of my own, and you both go up to your mom and you both give them the jersey, and you just be like, who's the good son?
Yeah, pick. It's a
Who's the good son?
Or it's a 3-game series. I don't know. Just switch them out.
I would my mom would have laughed and probably thrown both the jerseys on the ground and probably ripped off and wore an Oklahoma State jersey or something like that.
Would have cleared. The other bad bit, so they're both playing third base. They played tic-tac-toe with each other in the dirt like it was Little League.
Good bit. That's awesome. I love it.
I like that bit better than the split jersey.
I bet if the Rangers won, you'd like that bit.
Well, we won the series.
You did win the series.
We did. Yeah.
Man, Tigers,
they're better.
They are. I don't think they can sustain.
No, they have the pitching staff, but
yeah, but they're one game.
They have the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, L.A.
Yeah,
they're one game. They're almost.
No, it was a good weekend for the Rangers with some questionable bits sprinkled in there.
Yeah, you know what was a good weekend too for?
Tell me.
The Yankees.
There it is.
Hit it with me, man.
I have a Yankees fun fact for you too. Go.
So we won the series against the Padres, who were hot. They had the number 1 bullpen in the league. We had the number 2 bullpen in the league. And we gave up. Once again, we cannot find a closer to save our lives. We brought in the Brewers closer, who was probably one of the best closers in the game. But now he's turned into the setup guy. And we have Weaver, who is supposed to be our closer. He ended up blowing the save for us once again. But that would have made a sweep. But Aaron Judge continues to hit home runs, continues to hit over 400. He leads all of baseball in home runs, batting average, hits.
Is that good?
RBIs. So if there's a triple crown, what's the quadruple crown?
Ooh.
That's what I want to know, because that's what Aaron Judge is going to win. I swear to God, put money on it. Don't come at me if we lose that one, but we just put up double digits on the Athletics. We're playing Seattle tonight. We're playing them right now as we speak. And that is my Yankees minute.
You mentioned Aaron Judge's insane start, so I have some numbers for you.
Oh,
I love baseball numbers. Baseball is a sport where I love numbers more than anything else. So since the year 2000, Aaron Judge has the 3rd best batting average through 40 games.
That's amazing. That's Ichiro. That's Ichiro time.
Yeah, stretching into the year 2000.
He's the last person.
Surprisingly, Ichiro isn't on this list for best 40 games to start a season since 2000. But some of the names, surprisingly, this one kind of jumps out. Jose Iglesias with the Red Sox started the season 415. Through his first 40 games in 2013. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the names are exactly who you would expect. Great Marlins legend Juan Pierre, even though he did this with the Dodgers back in 2009. Joe Mauer, Twins, Victor Martinez, Indians, Chipper, Manny, Todd Helton.
Chipper was a hitting
we're talking,
dude.
right. So the only people that have had a better 40-game average to start a season since the year 2000, Iglesias with the Red Sox, and then Chipper in 2008 hit 410. But Judge at 409 right now, just an insane. You shouldn't be
insane.
You
dude.
shouldn't be that big, that powerful, and still that good of a contact.
He just knows how. He hits it so hard. The ones that go infield grounders, they can't catch up to him. You know, and he's not the slowest person in the world, so he can beat out. If you go deeper into the outfield.
For someone that big, he moves way better than average.
He was playing center field last year.
Oh, how'd that go?
He was amazing. Shut your mouth, dude. You set me up,
Oh,
dude.
I sure did. I was already ready to ask how his fielding was this year. LG, you
It's
have
great.
anything? You have anything from the weekend before we get into the main segment here?
Nah, man. I just did Mother's Day, did my thing, man. I cooked dinner for my mom. Brought her over here, hosted.
Well,
Yeah.
what was on the menu?
Ooh, tell us.
I did a Japanese beef curry and rice.
Damn, that sounds good.
Japanese beef curry. So it's like an Indian-Japanese fusion.
It's somewhat Indian-ish.
Well, I'm thinking curry's just
It's
always Indian.
less spicy, I would say.
I
More
guess
bland.
Does Thai do curry?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Curry's,
It's a
curry's
different
all
kind.
over the
That's just an Asia thing, I guess.
Yeah.
for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was good. We had a good time.
Where's my plate?
And we got some. We
Where's
had
my
some.
plate?
We had some ube cake.
Oh,
Or ubi cake.
Yeah, ube. Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff's
Never had it.
good.
Dude, I got some in the fridge if you want to try it.
We should. You should
good.
try some
Oh, I'm gonna get
afterwards.
some.
Yeah, it's
It's delicious.
really
Wait
good.
a minute. You're out of it. It wasn't in the fridge.
You must have gone in there before the show.
Well, then you ate it and you
I'm
didn't
playing.
even realize it.
I'm playing.
All right. Well, we've almost gone an hour here already. Let's get into the main segment.
So close.
What an insane draft lottery.
What? Your stupid team had 1.9% chance.
They had 100% chance when the league mandated they trade Luka to the biggest market.
You think
and
they
the most
cold enveloped
glorified-
it?
Okay. I want to
Come
talk.
on, man.
I don't want to spend the whole time talking about how the league is rigged, but let me tell you. Let me just
threw him a bone.
let's just look at the data, okay?
Okay.
The year after LeBron left Cleveland,
Number one,
who won the lottery?
Cleveland.
And that was Kyrie. The year after the CP3 trade, who won the lottery? When CP3 was traded out of New Orleans, back when they were still the Hornets.
That was, but was that Zion?
That was AD.
AD. That's right.
next year,
the brow. Yeah.
Pelicans, now rebranded as Pelicans, win the lottery. They get AD after
they were
losing
horrible.
CP3.
Cleveland was horrible.
For sure.
So was New Orleans. Mavericks were damn near playing.
Well, the Cavs won the year after LeBron left. They weren't horrible. That was still like they had just had LeBron all those years.
They still
like
had Kevin Love, right?
Yeah, they got. I think they had like a. I think theirs was like a 4 or 5% chance. It wasn't 1.8 like the Mavs, but the Mavs aren't even the lowest.
It was still single digits.
Yeah, the Mavs aren't even the lowest odds to ever win the lottery. So the year after the AD trade to LA, who wins the lottery? You've already said it.
Yeah.
Zion to the Pelicans.
I see your conspiracy.
And now,
I see
the
your
year after the
conspiracy.
Luka trade, the Mavs with a 1.8% chance, a team that has never, ever moved up one time in the draft lottery in their entire existence.
So they've always gone where they're going, supposed to go, or below
Or
it?
below. Yep. And you remember the most recent example, the Luka year.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have a number 2 pick, and they fell to 3.
Oh my God.
Or I think that was right before the league changed how the odds are weighted. So
I'm just hoping Nico's gonna Nico and be the wild card man that he is. And
okay, there is
not pick Cooper.
there is an above 0% chance that Cooper Flag
There's
never
a 1.9%
plays for the
chance.
Mavs. Yeah.
There's a 1.9%. There's
Very
still
low percentage.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Again, like we're not going to get lost in the conspiratorial side of this, but there's a reason people believe the envelope
The
was
cold envelope.
frozen for Ewing.
Yeah.
There's a reason people believe the Spurs have gotten lucky a couple times.
The Wimby.
The Wemby one specifically.
But we have.
There's a reason the Pelicans immediately lose massive stars in a small market and win the lottery the next year.
But why would they give? Okay, so why would they give the Spurs the second one?
The LeBron year, the first time, the Cavs didn't have top 5 picks or top 5 odds in that year to win LeBron.
So
but he's an Akron kid, and the league said the Cavs are going to
Yeah.
win this. Y'all all have to understand.
Calm down. They need a
We're
championship. They need
creating a
something.
narrative here. Yeah.
A Midwest. Something good needs to happen in the Midwest for the NBA.
Yeah, well, first time since Jordan in Chicago. But
So you're saying the NBA screwed the Spurs out of Cooper Flag?
I think
I'll buy it.
I think if
I'll buy
you
it.
want to believe that the NBA told the Mavs, look, part of the Adelsons buying the team, you have to agree to trade Luka to LA, and then in return, we will give you the number 1 pick to get Cooper Flag. And so all parties, we get a marketable star ready to play for the Lakers, be the face of the franchise as soon as LeBron retires. Mavs, it's going to suck to lose Luka, but we'll give you Cooper Flag. You get another generational talent. Everybody wins. The league interest skyrockets.
And Dallas is still a big market.
It's a huge market. It's a
huge
top 4 market.
So now
it's
you
a
got
top 3 market.
As they say, another. I hate the generational player because Wemby, yes, that's a generational player. Cooper, can I see him playing for 14 years? Yes, but I don't think he's generational.
So the different, I'll give you this. When I say generational, I mean someone from his generation that is going to be a Hall of Famer. That is more Nick Celtics updates. When I say generational, I mean out of his generation, he is a Hall of Famer. When we talk about someone like Wemby, that is transcendent. That transcends just being a simple Hall of Famer. That's
a LeBron. That's a Magic.
That's a
Bird.
potential top 10 all-time player.
Yeah.
Not someone that's just the best of his generation, but someone that transcends his generation to climb the all-time ranking.
He's transcendent generation.
Now,
I got to figure out a better word for that.
It's a lot of long words jumbled together, and I'm already discombobulated. I'm surprised I got them out. I think if you're talking about the quality of the prospect and comparing Cooper Flag to Wemby, Wemby's the higher quality.
Of course.
But if you're comparing Cooper Flag to any other player that's been taken first in the last 10 years, no one's close.
I mean, Stephen Castle, the Rookie of the Year.
But he
Chet
was
Holmgren.
Fourth.
Yeah, I'm just thinking rookies.
Just thinking of guys.
Rookies.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag is the best player to come in and make an impact immediately. I think even more than Wemby's rookie year.
He grades out incredibly well. Also, when you remember, he doesn't even turn 18 until December. He reclassified to play at Duke this year. This should have been his senior year of high school.
I thought he was like 19.
No, he's the youngest. He's, I think, second youngest player available in the draft.
And the NBA screwed us out of it.
Well, I think, enough of the Mavs aspect of it, because for whatever reasons, Cooper Flag is going to be in Dallas. I don't think trading the number 1 pick for Giannis or Devin Booker or anybody like that is going to give you the value of what Cooper Flag potentially could. Just when you think about how young he is. Exactly.
So
The interesting side of this tonight, though, is the fact that the Spurs jumped all the way up to 2nd overall. And as we think about potential trades, this makes makes everything so much more easier to see happening, because that is true ammunition in a draft that's loaded.
So let's go first, because we all know I want to get to the Giannis second, but give me, because you're the college guy, give me the players that we could draft at second that if we kept the pick.
Yeah, and
if we kept the pick.
The interesting
one of my
thing,
favorite guys, McDiddle.
Which one? I don't think it's that.
I don't know what's that guy's name?
Well, there's your favorite might be Con Knipple.
Knipple, there he is.
Okay. No, Knipple.
I would get a Knipple shirt.
So the Spurs move all the way up to get the 2nd pick, and then they also have the 14th pick. Knipple probably won't be there at 14, but that would be more realistic than at 2, of course. The interesting thing when it comes to consensus, who the people that think they're smarter than everybody else when it comes to projecting these types of talents.
ESPN has
Dylan
Harper. They say Harper fits Dallas better than Cooper Flag.
Well, that's insane, and that's why ESPN has Stephen A. and Kendrick giving you basketball opinions and not that's par for the course with ESPN.
Oh, big perk.
Dylan Harper is the consensus number 2 guy in this class. Kid from Rutgers, from an NBA pedigree. But the problem, he is a straight shooting guard.
He's a point, right?
Point guard. It's that same kind of blend of he's basically a higher projected rank than Steph Castle, but they do a lot of the same things. I mean, they're not the same player. I'm not comparing them on the court, but positionally and in terms of how you're going. He's a solid 6'6". I mean, he's good size.
He can be a shooting guard.
He's a lot like Devin Booker, that kind of shooting guard, where
That's
it's
not
like,
bad.
oh, no, it's great.
Play off the corner,
It's a good asset to have, but if you're the Spurs,
baseline.
you have De'Aaron, potentially, it would be De'Aaron, Steph, Harper, that you're trying to find a blend where those three guys can spend a majority of their time on the court together.
And then Wemby.
And then Wemby and whoever else.
We'd have to try to find a
right now, it would still
center.
be Barnes at the 4. But, yeah, I mean, I think the swing is Wemby playing 4 and having a more defensive center. But you're not taking that guy with the second pick in the draft either.
Oh, no.
All of the people that you're potentially looking at for that number 2 pick are all kind of not guys that you don't need, because Dylan Harper would be an upgrade over everyone on the roster not named
We need
Wemby
another shooter.
Fox.
We need another shooter and ball handler, but we also need a center.
See, and this is where it gets interesting, because there is a center available who has finished top 3 in MVP voting 5 straight years, has won a championship in a small market, knows what it takes. And of course, we're talking about Giannis.
Yes.
So the question now, we talked last week, you were very uncomfortable with the idea of giving up Steph Castle in a deal.
And now we have the chip.
But let me counter one more time. I know I'm not looking to
give up Steph.
I'm not looking to get Steph out of town. I'm just saying, on paper, Dylan Harper is a much better prospect than Steph Castle was. The guy that's going to be available there at number 2.
100%. He was a better prospect, and he's right now.
Right.
But Steph Castle,
we've seen what he is.
He has grown.
Right. And we've seen from
the beginning of the year, and that just makes me think of a Kawhi.
Sure.
Like, Kawhi wasn't a superstar whatsoever, and we saw him grow into one of the best players, two-way players in the league. And I think that's something Steph Castle can get to.
No doubt. And I think
He's got that it.
The room for growth there is very similar. When I watch Steph Castle, I see a guy that is Russell Westbrook plus 3 inches, just in terms of athleticism. Like you
jump out the building,
right? All of the talk, all of the narrative and conversation around Russ Westbrook for the last 5-6 years is very, very different than the guy that was growing and learning to be an NBA player those first few years in Oklahoma City. Russ was one of the most exciting players in the league as he developed and kind of figured out what he was going to be in the league. Because, again, he was a guy that was...
He was never a reliable shooter.
No.
He was
and let's wait and see about Castle, too. I mean, I don't think he's...
His second...
Completely agree. And we've also seen...
I think he was shooting almost 50%.
We've also seen seasons where Russ' efficient shooting numbers are top of the league.
I think those were like Tony Parker's, where
it was a lot of layups,
and you're in the
hole. I know, but
Steph Castle's true field goal shooter and his 3-pointer is good.
I think the question this is where
if we're going to give up Steph Castle, we can make the argument to Milwaukee and say Dylan Harper's better on paper,
right?
So you're basically getting the same guy,
sure, or a better version.
Yeah, but we already got Steph Castle. He knows our system. Yep. So I think we can make that argument.
So the interesting thing to me will be exactly what Milwaukee wants. Because if you're Milwaukee, when teams are looking, it didn't happen with Luka because that whole situation was just fried and sour and manipulated behind the scenes. But usually when a premier talent has made it known that they're available. Like we're getting the reports.
They get shopped around.
They don't get
traded in the middle of the night.
And we're getting, granted, it's not a whole lot of concrete reporting, but we are starting to get the reports of Giannis would be open to exploring opportunities outside of Milwaukee. Or I saw the clickbaity headline today. Giannis is intrigued by the idea of playing in a state that doesn't have income tax.
He's trying not to be the drama queen classic. I want out of here.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think he also owes it to the franchise at some point to be like, guys, I won you a championship. We've reached the end of our road.
It's like
Get the
Cleveland,
best
like
deal
LeBron and
you
Cleveland.
can for me. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all had nothing, Milwaukee.
Right. What were you?
Yeah, I got you a championship.
Right. And
Almost got you a second one.
Something Lou Alcindor couldn't do for you. Like I did that. So now
Let me be
on the
free.
market.
Let me
Right.
spread my wings.
So that's where the really, again, we've got, NBA draft is until June 25th. We've now got the conversation set up for the next month and a half to really, really decide, one, what Milwaukee wants in a package. Because if Milwaukee wants, if they're less concerned about players now and more concerned about draft capital, that's perfect for the Spurs. We'll give you a second pick, 14th pick, and 5 future first or whatever the number.
We'll just grab out the bag,
and we'll give you Keldon and a collection of salary to match Giannis's number. Probably like Keldon, Vassell, and 5 picks, 6 picks, something crazy like that.
I like
this is just off the top of my head.
Be like a 6-man.
I would too, but eventually you've got
Keldon wasn't bad.
You
off
got
the
too
bench,
many. Oh, he
dude.
was great off the bench this year, but eventually you've got too many heads to pay if you're bringing in a guy at Giannis's number. So if the Bucks want more future first-round picks, that's a match made in heaven. Let's start talking and iron this out, and y'all get ready to start scouting who you're going to take second overall. Again, if you're the Bucks, it's going to be really, really hard to not start your trade offer or negotiation with Steph Castle, number 2 pick.
Oh, yeah.
And if you give us both of those, we'll ask for less future first-round picks, because you could argue the Bucks would then be looking at, all right, we have 2 building blocks that we can start to build around as we reset things. And again, the Spurs would be in that scenario getting a guy that's every year.
They can ask whatever they want.
Every year he's top 3 in MVP. So you would have to be saying, do you think Steph Castle will ever be top 3 in MVP voting for half a decade straight?
No.
No. No.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that, but
Do you think Dylan Harper, or anyone you take with the number 2 pick, would ever achieve that?
not with Wemby, not with Cooper, not with he could be like Cooper could be like the Joker, Cooper could be. Wemby's going to be up there in he's going to be Giannis.
Well,
basically.
Cooper's not going to be there at 2. There's no scenario.
I'm just saying
Oh,
MVP.
just
MVP.
heard. Yeah.
But can we agree that Giannis looks like he lost a step?
I think sure.
I think he's on the. It's still. He's up there.
He's on the athletic
top
decline
3,
because he's 30. That's
but
just
it's going down. So no, you're not going to get our youngest player and a number 2 pick in this draft. You get Vassell and all those other people, and we'll give you one or the other. Which I still think we shouldn't. We should take Stephen Castle off the board and be like, Dylan Harper's graded a lot better than Stephen Castle.
Yeah, no, and I think that would be again. We're absolutely,
and we'll give you the 14th.
We're absolutely dealing in hypotheticals here. Yeah, you can have the 14th. Hell,
we'll take some.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to get, now that the Spurs have this level of ammunition. Mm-hmm. The rumors are only going to intensify, the smoke is only going to grow.
The Twin Towers are back. I swear to God, we're going to hear that for the next month.
I think at the end of the day, even though Giannis is 30, if you're telling me, especially in a Western Conference outside of Oklahoma City, the rest of the West is wide ass open. Yeah. There's no team, outside of Houston's young core, there's no other team no other team in the West has a young core like OKC or Houston.
Yeah, they're all fading out.
They're all fading. So we're in this transitional period. So
that could be us 3 once again.
Oklahoma
OKC,
City is showing
Houston,
they might not be they might not have enough playoff experience yet to get past a team like Denver.
That was like Thunder last year.
That's what Thunder last year against Dallas.
Yeah.
Who had been in the Western Conference Finals 2 years before that and had started to pay their dues. Thunder still haven't even played in a conference finals yet with this group. So as good as they are on paper, they're still learning how to win in the playoffs. We saw that Houston struggle against the winning pedigree of the Warriors, learning how to win in the playoffs together as a group. That is such a large part of taking that next step as a group of just learning how to win close playoff games.
But I don't think I don't think they have a young core. It's just
they have Ant.
That's it.
They have Ant. And then, Randall, Gobert's on the other side of 30. Randall's right there at it.
Yeah.
So on paper, just looking at Spurs' potential roster construction going into next year, in a Western Conference where let's say you add Dylan Harper at number 2. So now you've got De'Aaron Fox, Steph Castle, Dylan Harper, Wemby, and under this scenario, Harrison Barnes is still your starting 4-man.
Do we have him on another?
One more year.
One more year?
He's got one more year left. So solid starting 5.
Yeah.
Or in another scenario, you have De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, Harrison Barnes, and then Giannis.
Yeah.
And maybe Champagny or Vassell.
Stephen, you didn't even have Stephen Castle. Stephen Castle.
No, I'm suggesting Castle
if we give them both.
It's what it's going to. Guys like that don't get who's the closest? Gobert was worth 5 first-round picks. Mikal Bridges 5 first-round, 6 first-round picks.
We have 14 first-rounders in the next.
Completely
5 years.
agree, but I say specifically both of those guys because they are fringe all-stars at the best. The last time an again, you have to remove the Luka trade from all of this talk.
Break my heart, man.
But I don't think it. And this is where, I'm not sold either way. I'll be completely honest. I just like to talk both scenarios out because usually, without hesitation, I would say if you have the opportunity to trade for a guy that has finished top 3 in MVP voting for the last 5 years, you do not hesitate. Perfect example, the Stars. To get Rantanen from Carolina, they gave up Logan Stankoven, one of their biggest prospects, a dude who was a part of the playoff run last year, was in his second year in the league, which is what Castle would be going into. Stank is going to be a stud for Carolina. But you just got a guy that is potentially a top 3 player in the league.
Okay, so the last point I want to make on the MVP voting is Giannis was someone who could carry the Milwaukee Bucks on his back to long playoff runs, to a championship. He can't do that anymore. So, yes, he has the stats because he carries Milwaukee on his back. He has the rebounds. He has the points per game.
Well, you're discrediting Drew Holiday and Middleton before the injuries
Middleton's
back
old.
then.
Yeah, Middleton's old.
That Bucks team wasn't just Giannis and a bunch of scrubs from the Y.
But we're talking about MVP Giannis.
Yeah,
we were talking about MVP. I'm talking about.
That's
MVP.
also this year MVP Giannis because he's going to be 3rd in voting.
But that Bucks team couldn't get past the first round.
So
he can't. So you got to add that to the value of
with
Giannis.
Lillard's injury. Who was out with the?
They weren't getting past
the blood clot.
They weren't getting past there with Lillard.
I tend to agree with you, but I also don't just automatically assume that because I think when you have a healthy Lillard to pair with Giannis, you have a chance to beat anybody in a playoff series. Now the chance might be lower than 50%, but I think the amount of talk of Giannis not being worth the assets it's going to take. And here's the other thing. It's not just the Spurs. Yeah. I mean, Giannis is going to have, if these reports are true that he is open to the idea of leaving now, Houston's got.
Is Milwaukee going to let him go where he wants to go, or
I think Milwaukee's going to take the best offer at the end of the day. I think when you're a small market team like that,
ship him off to Charlotte or something.
If that's the best offer, yeah. I mean,
so you can get a high draft pick.
I think you got to do something to rebuild if you're Milwaukee, because the only way you're going to rebuild is to either get lucky. Giannis was the 16th overall pick. It wasn't like Giannis was a huge prospect.
Take all our first rounders that we got from other teams that are still going to be crappy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll give you all those first rounders because we're going to be making playoffs.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that plays out.
No, I think, and that's where, again, over the next month and a half, the questions are going to be: are the Spurs trading the pick? Mm-hmm. If they're not, who's the guy that we're circling? Because, I mean, they've shown in the past, obviously, just because the consensus says Dylan Harper is the second best prospect, it doesn't mean that's who the Spurs are going to take. They're going to take the guy they believe in the most at number 2, wherever that lands on the consensus mock draft. But I just think the rush to say that the Spurs aren't doing something specifically because Steph Castle's untouchable, I'm just not ready to say if Steph Castle is untouchable in a Giannis trade, you're basically saying Steph Castle is untouchable, period.
I think.
And that is a big, big stretch to make off of just what we saw his rookie year. It's not like he came in and had a historically great rookie year either.
We saw growth.
Sure.
And I think that's the biggest, like, you can come in and have an historic rookie year, but if you don't see growth, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know? But the fact that we saw growth is where I'm hooked on him.
I think if Castle ever is included in a deal for Giannis, it's absolutely there's going to be a very clear split, kind of like the split we see right now with Mitch Johnson getting the job. There's a bunch of people that are like, oh yeah, support the Spurs. If they think he's the best guy for the job, I'm full team Mitch.
Yeah.
There's other guys that are like, we're the freaking Spurs, man. We don't need to be signing G League coaches.
But he came up through the system.
Sure,
you know,
exactly.
Just
Which,
like
Steph Castle
all
coming
the
up through,
coach tree came up through the system,
of course,
and stuff like that.
But there were a lot of more accomplished guys from that coaching tree available.
Is he a better leader of men?
Sure,
that's where
I just love when it got down to the top 4. When I realized the Spurs and Mavs were both going to have top 4 picks. There's a 50% chance Cooper Flagg is playing somewhere in Texas at that point. And then when we got through picks 4 and 3, respectively, and it was down to either Spurs or Mavs, I'm not going to lie, my recent stance on Mavs basketball, it was the most it's been tested over the last 3 months. Because then my head, I'm like, well, man,
I was like, he's back at him.
Watching Cooper paired up with Wemby, that's the perfect pairing. They would be so great together for a decade plus.
Oh,
but also, my poor grandma. She still talks. She still can't understand why they traded Luka.
Happy Mother's Day, but and grandma.
This would at least make my grandma feel better
San Antonio
about
would
the
have
Mavs.
been like, grandma, man, come on, man. We want Cooper Flagg. I thought we were getting it. I was like, get out of here, man.
No, again, not to be conspiratorial.
You knew because of the all. Oh,
I was pretty confident what was going to happen. I didn't really believe it, but then when Dallas got put in the top 4, I said it's a lock. Dallas is getting the first pick. The NBA is absolutely rigging that. All right. Well, as I said, we'll skip the second round. We'll talk NBA second round on Wednesday night. We got to get to the lightning round before we get out of here.
Hit me, LG. All right, man. We got one of my favorite stories. I watched the ESPN. The Kansas City Werewolf got 32 years. For robbing all them places while traveling to watch the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kind of a great bit, though. So for those that don't know, this is the Kansas City superfan, the Chiefaholic. Yeah. He would travel to road games, and on his way there would literally rob a bank.
To get money
to cover the trip. And he's robbing these different banks in random places where he has no connection, just as he drives through on his way to the game.
Yeah, ESPN did like a whole doc on it.
Oh, it was great. I watched it. It was great. Hit me, LG. Could you imagine being Kendrick Perkins doing NBA pregame coverage and you say something as stupid as he normally says, and the man sitting next to you is Michael Jordan, who tells you to your face, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You don't know ball. We're not going to
shriveled. I would have shriveled up.
We're not going to get that on ESPN, but we might get that when Jordan tells Reggie Miller on NBC.
Oh, Jordan's going to be
Jordan is involved in some capacity. So we got the news last week.
He's going to be a talking head, huh?
Yeah, it's a very.
I don't see him doing that, man.
No, I don't. It's not going to be. He's not going to be like Barkley or.
Yeah, he's not going to be a regular.
Not a regular. He's going to be a contributing analyst, is I think the way they framed it, but. we got the news last week. NBC is bringing back the old Round Ball Rock by John to the basketball, which that song absolutely has real words. If you've ever heard John Tesh tell the story of how he wrote it. So not only do we get the old Round Ball Rock, but we're going to get Michael Jordan himself doing studio work for NBC.
Oh, I'm there for it.
Yeah, very 90s.
I'm there for it. Hit me, LG.
Oh my God!
That's my favorite. The Knicks win.
Oh, we have a Spurs.
The Knicks win.
I mean, we have a Celtics-Knicks update.
Yeah, man. 3-1. Knicks are winning the series. So you said what? 90 something
it's
percent?
94.5% of the time.
Man, I love me some Brunson. I love me some Jalen Brunson. He is.
What's there to not like? I mean,
He reminds me of Derrick Rose. Just throws his body at the hole.
less
got the shot.
explosive,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
moxie.
Yeah, the moxie.
Owning the moment, owning
he doesn't
the
live above
building.
the rim like
No,
Rose,
no.
but like he will get to the rim, throw his body around, and get the ball in the basket somehow, some way. It's amazing. It's Luka-ish. I'm not gonna lie.
Playing below the rim like that.
Yeah.
It's 50-year-old man at the Y that whips your ass up and down the court playing pickup, and you're just like, how the hell can I not stop this?
I used to play with a one-armed man racquetball, and he would kill me.
Yeah, that's. You might not want to admit that to the masses. Hit me, LG.
No, man, shut up.
We talked a couple weeks ago. We were doing Berman impersonations. I can't remember how it came up.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was because it was and boom goes the dynamite.
That's right. That's right. So Berman he signs an extension with ESPN. He's going to end up being their first employee ever to reach the 50-year mark with the company.
He's gonna be with that company for 50 years.
50
How old
years.
is he? 80?
Yeah, he's deceptively old. He's like not
They're gonna
quite
be like
Jerry
wheeling
Jones
out
old. But
John Madden type stuff where they just like wheel him out to do stuff.
do you want to take a guess right now, Chris Berman age?
I'm gonna put 79.
Okay, you overshot. He's 70.
70. Okay, so he started in his 20s.
He just turned 70. Yeah, started ESPN launch. What was it? 79.
Yeah, ESPN's got to be 50 years old because he started with them. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think they're 50 yet, but over the course of Berman's extension he signed, he will hit the 50-year mark. So yeah, it's crazy to think that Berman is the only one of all of that, the old Bob Lee and that old school crew. Hit me, LG. You know we can't go an episode without a little Cowboys talk. We got word. I think we can probably already schedule our first watching party.
When's
NFL opening night.
Oh, Eagles versus Cowboys.
Thursday, September 4th, up in Philly. Cowboys are opening
Y'all
the
gonna
season.
get pushed right out that building.
Here we go.
Did you see the little meme I did of George Pickens
Of course.
the first game when he doesn't get the ball?
I've seen all the Pickens memes. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I love it.
Keep them coming.
Pittsburgh does have a history of trading players when they're about to wild out, dude.
Yeah, but usually they're not 24.
Martavius Bryant.
Usually they're not
Claypool.
Well, yeah, he was kind of.
Deontay
AB,
Johnson, AB.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
look, hey, don't let me. I'm still riding the high of the.
I will ruin that.
The Cowboys.
I will ruin that.
The Cowboys have set the bar so low that them trading for George Pickens feels like they just did the Emmitt Smith or the Herschel Walker trade again.
Yeah.
It feels like it's that monumental.
You feel
I know it's not, but
there hasn't been much to feel good about then.
real quick,
Yes.
NFL, the Derek Carr retirement is it just makes
that's sad.
But it makes the Tyler Shuck draft pick even more questionable.
Oh,
The
man.
highest they've taken
Did
a
they know?
quarterback.
Did they know?
How much did they know? What were they actually expecting?
Did Carr know before the draft? Did he just sharp stick the Saints? He doesn't seem like that type of guy.
No, but it also feels like the Saints, if they had maybe fully known that he was going to retire, I think they would have been a lot more interested in trading back into the first round for a potential Jackson Dart.
Maybe guys should do it.
Well, I think Shador's those
he
meetings.
would have loved Nola.
Those meetings sound like they were just god awful.
Hit me one more time. The Cleveland Browns and the Sanders family have told the Giants if they release the Shador Sanders interview tape, they will sue them.
Was that official, or was that ball sack, or was that
I think that's
reference?
I think it's true. I think it's true. I think because everybody was talking so much smack against, the Giants, and they're all about their image. They don't want that tape out because, I think they're doing Hard Knocks again, aren't they? Are they? No,
I can't remember who the. Now I'm distracted by Celtics Knicks. I think Jason Tatum just ruptured an Achilles or tore an ACL.
And let's end on that.
Hold on, LG. Give me one more. I got.
I'm falling, and I can't get up.
We keep promising. I've got a whole idea for people of our age that remember E-Bombs World back in the day. LG can back me up here. You remember E-Bombs World, right? It was like
Oh, yeah.
What's the best way you would describe it? It was kind of like an original.
It was like an early, Reddit or Dig,
that's a good
a dig.com kind of with videos, kind of chivey, college humor.
Yeah.
All put together.
The dirty.
And there was, you were getting, it was everything. You were getting
I never got on that.
Flash, animation, cartoons. You were getting some stuff that probably should have been on rotten.com.
I forgot about Rotten. Yeah.
So it was like a 4chan.
It was very,
Kinda,
4chan,
yeah. It's like
Reddit.
all of those
exactly.
things. Yeah.
So eventually, we're going to do a segment called E-Bombs Corner instead of E-Bombs World, where I find, because the exploding well video that I have been trying to get to for 3 weeks now, or 3 episodes, that's going to be an E-Bombs Corner, but we just don't have time. But LG, I sent you, do you have that World Series video available? Because
I'm going to punch you.
No.
It's a good one.
It's a good one, especially for the
You set me up earlier.
especially for our Catholic audience. This is footage of our new Pope.
Oh, throwing out the first pitch.
No, just in the crowd. He's a he's a Southsider, Sox fan. Play the video, LG.
They're 2 strikes away from a win here in 2005 in Game 1, with Jenks on the mound and Everett at the plate.
Did you catch him there?
Yeah.
Did you see him in the crowd?
They're 2 strikes
He looks
away
just
from
like
a
a
win
Chicago
here
fan.
That's
in
great.
2005
great.
in Game
Look,
1.
Did you hear his brother say something derogatory about Nancy Pelosi?
Oh, of course. I mean, look, you're gonna get.
He's like, I just got the gig, man.
Yeah, you gotta.
Come on.
Yeah, let me get comfortable in my new quarters.
The white smoke is still blowing, man.
Yeah, just the idea, the concept. Not only did we get our first American Pope,
Yeah.
and the rest of the world is learning his whole background and everything. But the fact that he saw Jinx close out a World Series for the White Sox, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. They were great.
They were great tickets.
Mark Burley, what was the other rotational pieces
great,
of those?
man.
Yeah. They those White Sox teams, Paul Konerko, the great Paul Konerko, smashing at first. Yeah, that just absolutely shot my wheels off as that. You know what? Impromptu. One final one, LG. Give me one more lightning. Because I almost forgot one that's right. We had a local celebrity inducted into a Hall of Fame over the weekend.
Hit me.
Coach Jeff Traylor of Gilmer fame.
Roadrunners.
Before he got to UTSA, of course, everyone knows, was an awesome high school football coach in Base Texas. We just play it different over there, you know.
Yeah,
they
just rub some dirt on and get back out on the field.
Traylor, that's exactly. That's no water breaks. Water's for wussies.
You got the PVC pipes with the drilled holes in it.
Yeah. So Traylor got inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame over the weekend, along with a certain former quarterback who had this to say about Coach Traylor.
I always had so much respect for Coach Traylor, and not only at Gilmer, but what he's done at UTSA. And one of my buddies I play with Texas Tech actually is coaching with him at UTSA. So every like he's talking about before every game, we're always in the QB room, and I always make sure I see how UTSA is doing. And when Frank Harris was the quarterback there, and they were lighting up, it was fun to watch.
Also, get a little Frank Harris.
Hey, I'd rather watch Aaron Judge drop some
I always had so much respect for Coach Traylor.
Oh, he's killed my Niners. God, man. You bring up the man. You're killing me.
That's
today,
a great ender, isn't it?
I'm done with
and
it.
on that note, congratulations, Coach Trailer.
Congrats, Trailer.
Congratulations, Frank
You're a
Harris.
real one.
Frank Harris. It's got to be funny. It's got to be weird to be like Pat Mahomes just referenced. Like I didn't apply. Like I was just a stud at UTSA, and Pat Mahomes like, oh yeah, I've been following that guy for years. He's good down there. He built the program. Yeah, LG, get us out of here. We will be back Wednesday.
I wonder what his O face sounds like.
Stars Jets game 4 tomorrow night. Back in the room on Wednesday. As always, appreciate it, y'all. Be safe. Peace.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only